Ever wondered why are graves dug 6 feet deep? Well, my name is Rose, and today I'm going to answer for you that question. The expression 6 feet under is a common word used to mean death because of the notion that cemetery workers always dig grave sites to a standard depth of 6 feet, which is 1.83 meters. But are cemetery graves really 6 feet deep? Well, stay tuned to find out more in this segment. Many theories and explanations exist about why people commonly assume graves are always 6 feet deep. But one idea surely wins the most believable but probably not true award. Explore the possible origin of this widespread belief. One of the main reasons why people believe graves are dug 6 feet deep is the London Plague of 1665. Many sources point to a series of orders issued in London to halt another outbreak of the plague or Black Death in 1665 to explain why we still use 6 feet under today. The pamphlet titled Orders Conceived and Published by the Lord Mayor and Aldermen of the City of London concerning the infection of the plague includes a section titled Burial of the Dead, containing this sentence: In all graves shall be at least 6 feet deep. Unfortunately, these orders offer no explanation about why this particular depth was mandated, but it's possible that officials believed 6 feet of soil was sufficient to prevent animals from digging up corpses or would prevent the disease from spreading to the living. Londoners still didn't realize that they had more to fear from the fleas living on the rats thriving in their filthy city streets and less to fear from the plague victims. These orders weren't in force very long because the plague outbreak dissipated in 1666 after the Great London Fire. While it's possible that the London's 1665 plague orders created the lasting impression that graves are always 6 feet deep, it's not likely. Moreover, in order to dispose of the estimated 100,000 victims who died from the plague in 1665 to 66, officials resorted to mass burials in dozens of plague pits throughout London, which could reach depth of 20 feet or more just to keep up with the volume of plague victims needing burial. Thus, it's hardly likely that the 6 feet requirement had enough time to become a tradition followed by later generations of grave diggers. Another reason might be the safety of the grave diggers. While soil conditions vary greatly around the world, some have suggested that, given the dimensions of the grave site opening, 6 feet is the maximum depth someone can safely dig a grave before the sides start caving in without some form of bracing, particularly in sandy soil. Another explanation suggests that 6 feet was the maximum depth at which an average grave digger could stand and still manage to toss dirt out of the grave using a shovel or out of the grave without needing a ladder. Some theories say that graves are dug 6 feet deep in order to prevent people from disturbing the corpse. Incredibly, grave robbery or body snatching proved a serious problem in the early 18th, particularly in England and Scotland, because medical schools at that time actually purchased cadavers for anatomical study and dissection. Some people supplied the demand by entombing fresh corpses. While cemeteries resorted to many elaborate techniques to stop grave robbing, including the use of heavy stone slabs, stone boxes, locked above ground vaults, and moat safes, it's possible that burying a body at a depth of 6 feet was viewed as a theft deterrent. In addition, many people commonly believed that burying bodies at greater depth, such as 6 feet, helped contain decomposition odors that might otherwise attract the unwanted attention of animals. Finally, some theorized that gravesites reaching 6 feet deep helped to prevent farmers from digging up bodies when plowing their fields in rural areas. Another explanation is the prevention of the spread of diseases. As mentioned earlier, London officials and medical practitioners in 1665 mistakenly thought that the deceased plague victims spread the disease, and that burying these bodies 6 feet under would help slow or stop the spread of the disease. Finally, like so many superstitions surrounding death, there's an old rule of thumb of unknown origin stating that a grave should be as deep as the deceased long. Since the average male in the 17th and 18th centuries stood just 1.67 meters, 5.48 feet tall, it's possible that the 6 feet deep adage proved a good rule of thumb when digging graves. But the question is, are graves really 6 feet deep? Well, the title of the popular HBO television show 6 Feet Under, which focused on the fictional Fisher family's funeral home in Los Angeles, California, drew upon the fact that most people think a grave is always dug 6 feet, which is 1.8 meters deep. But there is no federally mandated requirement or nationwide standard concerning the depth of grave sites in the United States. Instead, each individual state governs grave depths within its borders or leaves the matter up to cities, local municipalities, or even to cemeteries. In general, most graves dug today are not 6 feet deep. Many states simply require a minimum of 18 inches of soil on top of the casket or burial vault, or 2 feet of soil if the body is not enclosed in anything. The bottom line is that cemetery graves in the United States are not always 6 feet deep, and for single grave sites, roughly 4 feet, which is 1.22 meters deep, in closer to the norm. That said, some cemeteries offer double or even triple depth plots in which caskets are stacked vertically in the same gravesite. In these cases, a single gravesite might be dug approximately 7 to 12 feet, which is 2.13 to 3.66 meters deep. Well, that's all I had for you today. My name is Rose. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.